So, after hearing about Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX getting a US release in December, it got me thinking about other monster training franchises, and holy crap, is that an actual new Digimon virtual pet? In America? In 2021? I mean, I knew they were coming out in Japan, but America? Wait, there's two? Third on the way? Oh, heck with it. Since you can't exactly do a Let's Play of a virtual pet, let's make this a vlogish series combining scripted, edited content with some live stuff as I dive into these new Digimon and discuss why Digimon virtual pets are amazing and how hard Bandai cocked this series up in the West. And what better way to start than with this complete failure of advertising? Oh, we're gonna need some backstory. Alright, so as you likely know, the entire Digimon franchise started as a Tamagotchi spin-off designed to appeal more to boys by replacing cute scribble critters with cyborg dinosaurs with guns strapped to them and adding the ability to battle your Digimon with dock and rock connectors. Adding a competitive element to a virtual pet was awesome, and I wanted one super bad. Heck, my first website was a Digimon fan site, and I even pre-ordered to get one of the first 200,000 units released in North America. I love the blasted thing. In Japan, they quickly reskinned all the Digimon 5 different times and released 5 different basic Digimon virtual pets, and they advertised the Digimon 2 in North America. And I looked everywhere for it. I wanted it so bad, and I never found it. Not the American version anyway. I stumbled across a Japanese one in the wild, but not the American one. Oh, it's not like they stopped producing Digimon units for America. Heck no! The ones I have here are all sorts of crazy colors I had never seen before in a KB Toys bargain bin, as you can see. I kept hoping these would be the Digimon 2s, but nope, they were just the first one. Over and over. Maybe they released the Digimon 2 in a test market, the way Ubisoft only ever released Battle Tag briefly in Texas. But in general, it looks like it never had a US release. The Digimon Wiki says it came out in 1997, but I can 100% confirm that's wrong, as if it had been released, it probably would have been in spring 98, based on the other Digimon products advertised around that time. After some scouring, I did see what looks like a US Digimon version 2 box, but these could easily be either hoaxes or just Southeast Asian releases, as apparently the Western branding was used there. Either the second Digimon was a very limited one-state-only release, or it never came out here. Believe me, I looked everywhere for it. So Japan got 5 basic Digimons, then like 5 Digimon Pendulums, and Pendulum Progress, and Pendulum X, and Twin, and we got one Digimon. That's it. Gee, I wonder why Digimon never took off here. It's almost like they only made one product, all the fans bought it, and never made any others. Almost. Digimon was so mishandled that by the time the anime came out, it was completely rebranded because pretty much no one remembered the original already. New logo, new localization of names, everything. I remember being shocked to see Digimon make a comeback and having mixed feelings about the show. It turned into a really good show as it went along, but man was I frustrated at how it broke the rules. You can't just de-digivolve, it doesn't work like that. Regardless, I was hoping that maybe we'd actually get some new virtual pets in the States, but nope! They actively avoided giving us any new virtual pets, and went out of their way to screw us over. I remember when the Digivice released, and I was like, finally, a new virtual pet, but nope! It was some other weird thing. But at least it had dock and rock connectors so that I could fight the old Digimon, so that was cool. But then I find out that the US version of the Digivice actually has a smaller screen than the Japanese one, meaning it needed new, smaller sprites. Meaning they pretty much had to completely rebuild and reprogram the Digivice just so they could screw over the US? Folks, there's mishandling a franchise. And then there's actively mishandling a franchise. They put in extra effort to screw over the US. That's something special. Also, one of the later Digivices was also a virtual pet, but they removed the virtual pet stuff from the US release. Gee, I wonder why Digimon could never compete with Pokemon. People, this has been one of Digimon's core problems as a franchise. We never got the core games. Love them or hate them, the virtual pets are what started Digimon. They're what Digimon are. They're what dictates much of how the rest of the franchise behaves. And we barely got any of them. That's like, imagine if we got Pokemon, but not the core games. Like if we got Pokemon Snap and Hey You Pikachu in the anime and the card game, but no Red and Blue. No Gold or Silver, no Ruby or Sapphire. That is what Digimon is like. Yeah, I know it has video games, and some of those are really good, but they're also amorphous. There's no one definitive core of Digimon there. That's entirely in the virtual pets that we barely got. So guess what that means? That means that the Digimon 20th anniversary is the first new Digimon virtual pet released in North America ever! The first one that wasn't just the same old Digimon we already had. Digimon 20th Anniversary is the first new Digimon virtual pet released in North in 22 years. Yes, 22 years, because apparently it takes 2 years to bring a virtual pet to America for some reason. And then you idiots completely cock up the packaging! Look, I walked into a GameStop and saw these things, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that a new Digimon? I knew there were new ones in Japan, but not America, so I picked it up, looked at the packaging, and got pissed the fuck off. Why? Because the packaging says nothing about this being a new product. They chose to emulate the look of the original Digimon packaging, which is cool, and I approve, but nowhere on the box does it say Digimon 20th Anniversary. Nowhere does it say tons of cool new features. Nowhere does it say features over 100 Digimon, nor does it say what version exclusive Digimon it contains, because that's a thing too. Each color has one exclusive evolution line. Not that you'd know that, because the box says nothing! Now, I get that they were trying to be retro and nostalgic. That's cool. But making people nostalgic for the old virtual pets also makes them remember how hard you fucked them over in '97! Besides, the packaging is not identical. Look at it. It's not a flip-open box. The colors are less saturated. Surprisingly, the original does not mention the Dock and Rock connectors, but rather Battle Connect. And I also love that the '97 version says the original digital monster you train for battle, while the new one just says the digital monster you train for battle. What, cucked out by Pokemon? Come on, you trademarked that shit! You get to be the original! Come on! And as if that's not bad enough, check out their Amazon listings, which also say nothing about new features. Oh, they'll tell you it's made of plastic, but not that it's the 20th anniversary version of it and that it has over 100 Digimon, because those aren't massive selling points. No, gotta let them know it's plastic though. Literally all of the user-submitted questions on the Q&A is just people asking, is this the 20th anniversary version? Yeah, might have been good to tell people that. Bandai, you idiots! I guarantee you lost sales because of this. How can anyone be this bad at marketing? Bah, whatever. Anyway, I got 2 Digimon X's, a Digimon version Wonderswan with Dock and Rock adapter in the mail, so I figured I better get these started right away since the old school Digimon grows slower than the X's. What you see right here is actually one of the original first 200,000 Digimons released in North America. Honestly, it's probably my mom's or my sister's, since I think I had the blue one? Hey, if you're watching this video, you can go pick it up. I'll give it back to you. Anyway, popped it open, put in some new batteries, set the time, and good as new. Sorta. The screen's a little faded, and there's some after images above and below the sprites, but it's still working. This new one, though, once I open the package, this instruction book falls out, and it's a book! The original was like a single folded sheet of paper, and whoa features! I can train 2 Digimons? Tag battle? Wait, the 20th grows faster too? Oh, I was not prepared for this. I thought this was just the original Digimon, but with all 5 versions combined together or something. But no, this has elements of the Digimon Twin Knit and stuff. Wild. Wow, a whole freaking book of back-of-the-box features Bandai didn't bother to put on, you know, the back of the box. Also worth mentioning is the new one runs on CR2032s as opposed to 2 CR44s like the original. CR2032, of course, being the VMU and Sega Saturn battery, which I always remember running out much faster than CR44, so I don't know what's up with that. Also, apparently modern CR44s go by like 7 different names now? What cockbag thought that was a good idea? Literally had to eyeball that shit and pray it was the right one. Suddenly I feel so much worse for my friend who works at a Batteries Plus. Anyway, getting out of the packaging, it looks very similar to the original, but the 20th is slightly larger by like a millimeter or two here or there, and the colors are noticeably different even though I got the retro colored one. Turning it on, it asked for my name, and after saying the clock, despite going second, it hatched much sooner than the original. Apparently, it only takes a minute. It also started pooping faster and needed more immediate care. Just looking at it, it had a ton of minor differences, like poop washing not taking the entire screen, the clock popping up immediately instead of scrolling onto the screen, more stats, a screen which tells you the species name of the Digimon you're raising, lots of stuff. Main thing is the new training game. In the original, you guessed high or low in a best of 5 against a duplicate of yourself. In the new one, you mash the A button to fill a meter and break down a wall. Interesting. It did not take long before my 20th turned into a Koromon and immediately went to bed. It was after 11 p.m. when I started these things after all, so yeah. Meanwhile, my original stayed up for another 30 minutes or so, bugging me with poop, feeding, and the need for more training before passing out and evolving mid-sleep. And, of course, pooping just before evolving and then sleeping, and then I can't clean up the poop. This brings up another point. In the original, when you turn out the light, the screen goes black, and that eats battery ever so slightly, so many owners would flip to the clock screen to preserve battery life. On the new one, you just tuck it into bed and the screen never goes black. In fact, the screen turns off as it goes into sleep mode after a bit of inactivity, unlike the original, which stays on all the time. That said, when an event happens, the screen turns back on the 20th and it beeps at you. Also, gotta say, spending a little more time with my Koromons the next day, the 20th anniversary one, definitely goes faster. It gets needy sooner and poops way more. This thing is literally running at like 3 times normal speed. Anyway, for a brief post-11 p.m. session, that was somewhat eventful. I look forward to seeing what these new virtual pets have in store for me and testing the compatibility of the dock and rock connectors through time. See you next time!